So, what is happening with our reality? You know, I know a lot of people attribute it to a spiritual change, sort of consciousness shift, but it's just vastly different from the 80s and 90s when I grew up. Anyone who grew up in that era knows, you know, things were a lot slower. Obviously, we didn't have social media and we didn't have all the technology that we have today, though we still had quite a bit, but nothing like today. I feel like the brainwashing was much slower. So it wasn't rapid pace like it is now. Now it's just propaganda, lies, one thing after another. You can't even keep up with all the psyops, and back then it was just play outside. Everything just had a more alive feeling. I feel like they pump so much shit in the air now, so many different frequencies, just all the crap in the environment, all the heavy metals, all the shit they spray, all the just everything, along with the sun is constantly blocked. Something's different with the sun, right? We got a white sun now. We don't have this orange, yellow, glowing sun like we used to have. And all that stuff is affecting us big time. And I feel like I can't pinpoint the time, but at some point it just felt like shit started changing. Shit started feeling less real. Things started feeling less nostalgic, almost like the magic was wearing off, like like they just had a spell on us. And I feel like if you look back at the 50s, right, they had the whole white picket fence. They had this whole life kind of painted out. They basically invented the suburbs around this time. For the longest, everyone lived in cities or lived in the middle of freaking nowhere. This is when they really started building suburbs and schools and you know just this whole sort of culture started being more defined. And you had the 60s with hippies, similar in the 70s. The 80s came around, and it's like they could put out one band or a TV show or change the music and it changed all of society. Like I always say, you look at old shows like Saved by the Bell, whatever shows were going on back then, Full House, Thank God It's Friday. I think that's what it was. But they weren't reflecting reality so much as they were creating reality. So they could change something in a TV show, and it changed something everywhere. They could put out a new band, a new, whatever it was. And now you had a whole new genre of style, right? You had skater kids, you had your bullies, you had your nerds, you had the cool kids, the preppy kids, you know, all these things. And you start to realize from the moment we're born, we're completely indoctrinated. We're lied to. We're sold this fantasy story of history and how things are, right? We're on this fucking rock floating in space. No, nothing else out there. It's just us. And you start to realize all the reasons why they would want to lie to us and tell us all of this stuff. And people become highly triggered when you tell them that it might be different, you know? And man, shit is just crazy nowadays, bro. And people are getting sick of their fucking 9 to 5s that suck, that barely pay the bills. They got us in this fucking rat race. And people are just struggling, and now everything's fake as shit. So people are just getting pissed off. And they look at all these corrupt ass fucking politicians and a government that don't do shit for us. They just constantly, you know, you see all the disease and illness. And that's one thing that pisses me off is just the amount of unnecessary suffering that takes place, from people's health. We're just getting blasted with frequencies constantly. We're getting blasted with heavy metals, smart dust blocking our sunlight, and God knows what else they're doing. And it's having a big impact on everything, everyone, so you really want to pray and hope that we are in a spiritual type of world, that we are not of this place. We are just here for whatever it is, right? You have the David Icke version where we are on the wheel of samsara. We're in a reincarnation loop. We're sort of trapped here by entities. And then you have the other side, the more spiritual side, where we choose to come here. We're sort of evolving our consciousness. Now, I'm a realist. I don't know exactly what the fucking answer is. It's like everyone's always arguing round earth, flat earth. And all I know is there is most likely a creator. This is not base reality, as you'd call it, or the end all be all. This is some type of simulation experience, call it what you want, and it's changing. Time is flying by, and I just love, like, growing up in the 80s and 90s. That was the shit. I mean, but you look back and you think, man, those fuckers, what'd they have you doing? They had you sitting in front of a television watching cartoons, which Saturday morning cartoons were the shit. But a young mind like that shouldn't be watching fucking He-Man and Transformers and all this mindless shit, right? They should already be learning, getting out in nature, which, yeah, we played outside a ton, but we had no direction, right? The system is designed so that your parents have to work all the time to pay the bills. So they're most likely not home, or they're fucking divorced, and you're essentially raising yourself, right? I had the greatest parents, but they were divorced. They worked. So I was essentially a fucking little animal out there on my own. No clue how to fucking be a man. No clue how to do anything except get in trouble, get high, smoke, drink, fucking do all these things. Obviously, when I was older, not a kid. But even as a kid, we were just out bored, not taught how any sort of life fulfillment, wisdom, how to survive, how to do all these things. It was just like, let's go kick over some fucking garbage cans. Let's go egg some house. Let's go fucking light some shit on fire, like, and just really a fucking crime when you think of what life could be versus what they can make it. And crazy times, and the shit has changed. Now they got rapid fire fucking lies, constant bullshit. You just go on social media, we don't even know what's real now. What's fucking AI, what's not AI. Did this fucking happen? Did this fucking thing happen? Is this influencer even a real person, or is he fucking AI? Don't nobody know that shit anymore, man. And that's what they want, so they could build these smart cities. They could implement this 6G and control everything with AI. We got all these data centers going up, which people better hope they're fucking data centers or not something else. And you see what's happening to all this land, especially in the South and the Midwest. They're going to be building smart cities. I mean, the city's cool to visit. I can't fucking stand a city really living in it. It's a madhouse. That many people aren't meant to live with one another, right? Like, you're not meant to be jammed, first of all, in a fucking world with this many billions of people, then jammed in a city living on top of each other. That's just crazy. You add in all the other stuff, the constant distractions, division, all the lies, and you get exactly what we got now, fucking insane asylum. But luckily, people are waking up. That's the only reason I'm making these videos. I just want people to wake up. I want people to live good lives, take power back. You know, I don't care what you believe. You believe whatever you want as long as it makes your life better. You think the earth's flat? Great. You think it's round? Whatever. Think it's a simulation? You know, believe what you want as long as it makes your life better and you're not fucking arguing with people endlessly about what the fuck is right or wrong, you know. And I just hope we figure this shit out. Man. And I really do hope we evolve, elevate consciously, right? And I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the other side has, because we already know this side's crazier than a motherfucker. So, yeah, man. Everyone, you got to live a good life. You got to not stress too much. You got to try and eat healthy. Stay away from all the processed bullshit fucking foods. And just do what you can, man, to get that money so you're not locked in that 9 to 5 in prison just over and over. So, yeah, things are crazy. Things have changed, and we ain't going back. We're only going forward. So we better start waking some motherfuckers up, because shit's going to get real soon. So anyway, I still get random waves of nostalgia from back in the day. You know, I just feel like we're more and more detached from this reality, from nature. You know, our attention spans are destroyed from the constant scrolling. Got 8 billion people all staring into screens endlessly. It's wild. But, yeah, everyone do their best to take care of themselves. And, you know, we got to make this a better place, but I'm afraid it's going to get worse before that happens. So just everyone be prepared, you know, stay positive.